So let us start today's session. And today we're going to do with the same thing, that is double game. Let me revise you the things. We're going to have two set of datas. There will be characters in those datas, and people, the user, those who are playing the game, they need to find the common match into it. The data will be something like this format, and they need to find out that what is common in that particular list. Now, first of all, we'll make it in a simple way. We will only take two lists, and we're going to take some of the datas, and we're going to play with those. And then we're going to complicate it. We're going to have n number of lists. We're going to have n number of datas, and inside that huge amount of datas, they need to find out only a single character. So it's going to be a tough choice for the user. So first of all, we're going to do this. So let us take L1, maybe our first list, and let us take L2, maybe our second list. Okay. So we have created two lists according to our requirement. And now our next is there will be characters. Now, getting characters one by one, we need to write A, B, C, D, E, and unlimited time. So we need to do this. But there is a choice towards us. We in Python, we have a library called string. So we need to import that string library right over here. And after importing this, what we want to do, we have a special thing like uh, getting all the characters into a list. So for that, we will take a variable, maybe sample. Let the variable name be sample, and inside that we're gonna assign actually string dot ASCII letters. String dot ASCII letters. So what does it do? A, B, C, D, each and every characters, it will either in lowercase or in uppercase, it will get all those characters and store it in sample. But we need to convert that because sample is an individual variable now. So it can store only one character. It cannot, or you need to join the things. So for storing it in multiple characters, we need to convert this entire part into a list. Okay, let us see how it does print if we storing like this. Then I will just let you know what is the difference if we convert it to list. Okay, so we are just printing this sample right over here, and we will just execute the code. Let us save the code first, and we will write Python dot slash session 4, and it's day 4 today. So we're gonna do with that. Okay, so let us execute it. You see, we are getting this in a single string, and all the values are over here, but we cannot use those values unless we separate them all together. So for separating them, we will just convert this sample into a list like this. The entire thing will convert it to a list. So one by one, it will convert each and every values into a list. And if we now execute the code, so you will find a difference that all individual characters are now inside a list, elements of the list. So now you can see we have got our characters. Now our next step is to preparing the list. So for preparing the list, we first of all, we need to choose a position. For example, if we have four datas in list 1 and 4 datas in list 2, then we need to fix a position that this position will be this position. I'm gonna a same character we need to choose first. That this character will appear at some position in the first list, and the same character should appear at some position in the second list. So our first step is to choose a character. So for choosing a character, we need to have a random choice. Now for choosing anything randomly, we need to import that you know already, that is random. Now today we will have the practical application of random, second practical application actually. So first of all, we'll choose random, and then what we will do, we will just take a choice, means choose a single character out of the sample. So let me write it down. choose a character or element, you can say, out of sample. So while we choose this a single character, so we need to write something like this. Let the variable be choice, or a short variable m maybe. So we can write random dot choice, and inside that we're going to pass on from where we're going to have the choice. So we will have the sample, and this is done. So let us print it and see what data it is giving. Print, and we'll print the m. Now let us execute this code. Okay, so we got s. We are seeing that whenever we just uh, execute it again and again, it's giving us a random choice. If you again execute it, it's giving us capital P. It's again executed, it's giving a capital Z. So every time it's giving a random choice to us. So our first thing is done, that we got the common element that to be implemented to the to's list. Now there is another point, that we cannot implement those numbers directly at any position. It's as a static position, because if you don't change the position as per our requirement, then what will happen? People will know that in the first list, the third element will be equal to the second list first element. So it will be not random. So for that reason, we need to choose a position. For example, we are building a 4-element list first of all. So let us choose an choose a position. For choosing a position, we can have like position 1 for your list 1. So for list 1, we have the position 1, and we have the keyword random dot choice, sorry, random dot rand end, because we are choosing a position, rand end. And inside that, we're going to pass on the values. We want the values from varying from 0 to 4. Okay, so we want the values varying from 0 to 4, so we'll choose it from this. Similarly, we'll go for this for the position 2, and same, we want a value from 0 to 4. So now if we execute this code, let me print this first. Let me write it over here, choosing a position in both the list. Okay, this is done. So let us execute it now, and let us see how it works. Okay, okay, we haven't printed it. Print position 1 comma position 2. So we have printed it now, and now we'll execute it once again. Okay, so we got both the position at 1 1. Now if we choose, the first list has the position 1, the second list has the position 4, 2 0, then 0 2, then again 1 1. So these things are going on repeatedly, and we are getting the positions. Okay, so this is the what result. So you can see that we are getting a common position also. So while we code it, we need to think at that particular level that the position may be same or may be different. Okay, now there is one more thing that I want to tell you, that if you are choosing a sample over here, if we are making a choice of a sample over here, then what will happen? We are not removing that sample from this entire sample list. If we are not removing it, it may happen that while we are choosing another sample for entering dummy samples in the list or uneven samples, it might be that some other characters may also be the same. Getting my point? So for this reason, what we need to do, we need to remove the samples that we already took off. So for removing the samples, we had to just write it where remove the chosen sample from the list of samples. So for removing the chosen sample, we have to use the keyword remove. So we will do sample because we need to remove from the sample dot remove, and inside that we're gonna pass on the value that we want to remove, and we want to remove m. So if we print a sample after this, print sample, so you will not get that element that we are printing right over here, the m. Okay, so let us execute this code. You will find, okay, so this was the sample before we chose an element over right over here, and then we chose an element right over here, that is I, capital I, and now you can see I over here, but you cannot see I over here. So that means we have successfully removed our sample. So our first step is done. So what all things we got? We created a list to store the data. We chose the position where we want the same characters. We removed the sample, we chose the sample, and we created a sample. All the steps, prerequisite steps are done. And now we will assign our sample, assign dummy samples. Now for that, we want to have four characters. Okay, sorry. I believe I've taken it for 0th position, the 4th position, that believes to be 5 character elements. So, okay, let us make for 5 characters. Then we will shift it to other one. So for I in range, because we want all the samples to be dummy samples. In range 5, that means it will start from 0 and end till 4. So this is our loop, and inside that we're gonna check. First, we're gonna check that if means we need to push m, means this m, what position we got in m, we need to push at this position in the list 1, okay, and at this position in the list 2, pose 2, okay. So first of all, we need to check that if the position 1 and position 2 is not equals to I, because I consists of the positions. So if both the position are not equals to I, then we will put the dummy sample. So first of all, we'll check if I not equals to pose 1, okay, and similarly I not equals to pose 2. So you could see over here, we are doing this, that first of all we're checking that if I is not equals to position 1, and we are also checking if I is not equals to position 2. So if it is not equals, then what we need to do, we need to assign a sample. So for assigning a sample, we need to choose a sample from the sample list. So let the s be the variable where we will store the chosen sample, and we can write like sample dot, sorry, we're going to choose the sample using random. So random dot choice, the same thing, and we'll choose it from sample. So now what we choose, we're gonna store it in the list. Okay, so first what we have chosen, we are storing it in list 1, for example, l1 dot append, and inside that we're gonna store s, and our next step is to remove it from sample. So we're gonna do sample dot remove, and inside that we're gonna pass s. So let us see what is there. What is s? Print s. While we launch the game, we need to remove everything, every print statement except the final statement. This print statements are basically designed for the checking purpose, that are we getting the exactly the same output that we want. Okay, so be careful of it. So print s, and we'll print l1, and now we'll print sample over here. Print sample. Okay, so let us see what happens over here. Except the two elements, the position 1 and position 2, all the other positions will be filled till 5 characters in list 1. So let us see if this executes well. Okay, here we go. See, except the two positions, total we have 5 elements. Except the 5 elements, we have only 3 because there are two positions, position 1 and position 2. Except those, we have all the elements right over here, and you can see that we have all the things like K, Q, everything, it's inserted. And if you want to find these elements inside the final sample where we have printed this, you will not find it. You don't have M over here, you don't have small k over here, small k is not there, and you don't have capital Q over here. So you could see that we are taking the sample and removing it every time. So this is good. This is well done. So similarly, we're going to do the same step for sample 2. Now let me eliminate these all because we don't require it at all. So we have chosen sample, we have stored in list 1, and we have done sample.remove. Same step, we'll just copy it and paste it and do it for list 2. Okay, so we have got list 1, we have got list 2, and now if the positions are equal to I, so our first query should be that if both the position are the same. So for that, what we're gonna do, we're gonna provide an elif statement. Elif I equals to position 1 and I equals to position 2. So if both the positions are equal, then what we're gonna do, we're gonna append our M that we got over here. Now what is M? That the sample that we chose. Okay. So we want those in the same on the position 1 and position 2. So now I value is the position 1 and position 2. So we're gonna append it like L1 dot append M, and similarly L2 dot append M. We wanna append the same positions, same elements in the same position. So now over here we don't need to remove the sample as we have already removed the sample right over here. Okay, sorry, right over here we have removed it. So we don't require to remove the sample at this condition. Now there may be another condition that both the positions are different. This condition satisfies that if both the positions are same, but there may be a condition where both the positions are different. So for that, we'll just again elif, and inside that we're gonna pass on I equals to position 2. Now if I equals to position 2, that means we need to append it in position 2 list. Okay, and so let me append this in position 2 list, L2 dot append M. Okay, this is done. But what about L1? Because if we skip over here, right over here, then we will miss an element at L1. Just think of it. Because position 2 is equals to I, that means yes, it is equals to I. Now, if position 2 is equals to I, then what about position 1? It is not equal to I, so the list 1 should also be updated at this particular statement. So for that purpose, what we need to do, we need to choose a random sample. So let the sample be S equals to random dot choice, and inside this we're gonna pass on sample. So we have chosen it, and the same step we'll do again for, we'll append it to L1 dot append, and inside that we're gonna pass on the value that is S, and we're gonna remove it from the sample. So sample dot remove, and inside that we'll pass S. That's it. So let me know in the comment section if till here you understood each and every step. Just let me know this, or else I need to explain it again. Just let me know this because this is very important. Again, okay. So, so I will just repeat it again, once again. See, over here, what we have done, we have to do, we have to take two set of data, our first thing. Now, we need characters for those two set of data because our output should be something like this, a set of characters inside a list. So for that, and then we need to ask the user to find the common match. So for two set of data, we have taken two lists right over here. Let me take this above. Okay. So for two set of data, we have taken two lists. Now we require the characters. Now we can also do taking a list and inserting all the characters that we want, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, everything. But that is not an appropriate manner. So we have the existence of the library string over here, and this library has a key as a function ASCII letters. Calling this function, it will give the n number of samples that you wanted. And then what we are doing, we are creating a list out of this. So we are getting it in this format, this list format. Each and every elements are individual. Okay, we are getting in this. So once we got the sample, now our next step is to choose the common sample that we want. Now the common sample should be same at both the cases. So we have chosen a common sample, common character. Let me write it over here, common character. Now we have chosen this common sample and stored it in M. It's a random choice. Okay. Now, if we don't remove this choice right from this sample, then what happens? It may get chance of getting that sample once again in the dummy data of the list. Okay. So for that reason, we are removing each and every element that we are choosing once because we don't want any repetition of any other elements. So for that, we'll remove M from the sample. Okay. Now print M. Now we are printing M, the element and this. And if you want to comment this, you can comment this because this is not required. This is also not required because this was all for dummy test purpose. Now our third step is to choose the position at list 1 and choose the position at list 2 where we want the sample that we chose, the single character that we chose, common character, to be assigned. It should be randomly choice, or else what will happen, people going through the game twice or thrice will get an assumption that this element will be at list 1 at this position and this element will be at list 2 at this position. It can be assumed. So for neglecting that reason, we will just use the random rand end where it will give an integer value from 0 to 4 in between that values. Okay, so we'll get this. Now we have got it in position 1, we got it in position 2, and we are printing those positions, but we don't need to print it in the game. So we'll comment this. Now coming to the assigning part, now we'll assign the values to the list. Till now we haven't assigned, we have only generated the values, and now we'll start assigning. So we are generating a list consisting of 5 elements. So we want it for a range of I and it should be 5. Okay. Now what we require is that first step to check if I, because I consist of the position of the list, I value don't have any existence equal to position 1 and position 2. If both the positions are not equal to I, that means we need to put a dummy data in both the positions. So first we need to choose a sample, and then after choosing a sample, we'll just appending that sample to list 1 and then removing that sample. Similarly, since both the data require some dummy data at this, so we'll do the same thing, choose a sample, append it to list 2 and then remove the sample from here. Okay. So after this, what we're going to do, we're going to just check if both the positions are equal to I. That means if both are 1 1, if both are 1 2, 2 2. So if both the positions are equal, then we need to append M that we caught over here by choosing a common character. The positions are the common positions where it will be there. And now we'll append both the elements, L1.append M and L2.append M. As we have removed M previously, so we need not remove M right over here. Okay. Now coming to the next step, if there may be some possibilities or chances if position 1 is different from position 2, at that condition we're going to check that if I is position 1, let it be position 1. Okay, first we're going to check position 1. So we're going to check that if I is equals to position 1 only, because you can understand like this, if any of the above statements are true, then it will not reach to this statement, it will just break it and skip it. Okay, so if the above two conditions are false, then only it will check if position 1 is equals to I. If position 1 is equals to I, that means we want to append the element, the common element at the position 1, that is ith position, and we want to append at this position. So we will do L1 dot append M, because it's position 1, so we are using list 1. Okay. Now for list 2 at this position, what we need to do? We need to choose a random sample and just assign it in list 2. So we will just choose random the choice sample, and we are storing at S. We are appending that sample at L2, and now what we are doing, we are just removing that sample from the uh, removing that S sample from this total list sample. Okay, right from here. Similarly, we're gonna check for position 2, LF, if I equals to position 2. If I equals to position 2, then what we're gonna do, we're gonna just append L2. So because as it is position 2, so we have taken list 2, so we're gonna append L2 dot append, and inside that we're gonna pass on the common character that we have chosen, and we have stored in M. Okay, so now we have done this, but we also require something to be done with the position list 1, because at this position what will happen to list 1? So same thing, we'll use a dummy data for storing it in list 1 at this position. So random dot choice, and inside that we're going to pass on the sample list. Now we're going to store L1 dot append, and inside that we're going to pass on sample S. After this, we're going to remove that sample from the entire list. Remove dot S. Remove dot sample dot remove, and inside that we're going to pass S. Okay, so these are done. Now you will think that is this completed? Actually, it is completed. We have generated the samples, and now coming to the part of the presentation. So we'll come out of the loop now, because the loop part is done completely, and we'll print list 1 because we have done completed the list 1. Similarly, we'll print list 2. Okay, and after printing list 1 and list 2, what we can do now, we want the user to choose the character, because user is seeing that both the lists are printed, and I need to choose a common character. So first of all, I need to take the user that I need to ask, like choice. So I want the input of that choice, input, enter the common character. Enter a common character, and now after getting the choice from the user, we're gonna check if choice equals to list of position, sorry, list not L1 of position 1 maybe. So what we are doing over here, we know position 1 has the common character, right? So that we only know. So either you write position 1 or you write L2 position 2, both are same because at both the list there is a same character. So with any of the character you can choose it on your oil. Now we're just checking that if both the characters are same. If both the characters are same, we're gonna print correct answer, and if else, we're gonna print wrong answer. Now this is the simplest of the entire double game that we could make. Now we'll complicate it. First of all, let us try it. Okay, so we have saved it and we'll execute it. So see, it's showing us a 5 character over here and it's telling to choose the common one. So you can see the common is L. Other than L, no other characters are in common. So if we write L, then it shows us the correct answer. Now similarly, if we execute this code again, now the common is T. So when the common is T, so if you don't write T, if you write V or Y anything, small v, it's giving us the wrong answer. But you can find it out very easily when it is a set of only 2 lists and so less number of data. Now to complicate it, first of all, before complicating it, just let me know in the comment section if you understood this. If you understood the concept, if you understood the code, just let me know in the comment section. Okay, very good. So now what we can do, we will complicate this. We're gonna have more number of lists. We're gonna have more number of data in each list. So now we need to calculate in a different way. If we have, for example, 3 lists, okay? Now 3 lists will have common thing into them, right? But we have only 26 into 26, 26 plus 26, that is 52 characters with us. These characters, because we have small characters 26 and capital characters or uppercase characters 26. Okay, lowercase and uppercase, total 52. So we're gonna calculate it accordingly. If we have 3 lists and each consisting of 10 number of elements, then I believe we are getting only 30 elements, and which is easily suitable for the random choice. So let us increase the things. Now, very few changes that we need to do. We're gonna create another list, L2, L3. We're gonna create another list. We're gonna choose a sample. This will be the same. We're gonna select a sample. This will be the same. Now we have to create a random number till 10. Means we want 10 elements. So I will put it 9 over here and same 9 over here, because this takes the position numbers. So from 0 to 9, it gives you 10. Okay. Now we want the range, and now we need to write 10 over here because it goes for 10 minus 1, that is 9 position. Rand end goes till the 9th position, but rand range goes till n minus 1. That is, if you write 10, then it will go till 9. So we are using rand end over here, so it will go till 9th position. Now we have chosen 10. That means 10 elements will be inputted in a single list. Now the conditions will vary. I not equals to position 1 and I not equals to position 2 and I not equals to position 3. And now where this position 3 will come from? We need to assign a position 3 over here. Position 3 equals to random dot rand end, and inside that we're going to pass on the data as either a value from 0 to 9. That's it. So we got this. Now we're checking that if I is also not equals to position 3 also, then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna append the same data for control copy, and then we have the same data. So this is for list 3, so we'll append it to list 3. That's it. So our first step is done. Now we'll check if all the positions are equal. I equals to position 1, and I equals to position 2, and I equals to position 3. If all the positions are equal, then we're gonna append L1 dot append M, L2 dot append M, similarly L3 dot append M. Now over here, there will be certain other conditions, like if two of any of the two positions are equal, then what we're gonna do? For example, if position 1 and position 2 are equal, but position 3 is not equal, then we need to create some extra positions, some extra elif statements. So for that, what we're gonna do, we can reduce this code length by little bit of thinking of the conditions. But what I have been mentioning you over here is the simplest way to just get your logic over here. So that is what I'm just trying to explain you. Elif I equals to position 1 and I equals to position 2. Then at this condition, what we need to do, we're gonna have L1 and L2 as the same append, copy, and we're gonna paste it over here. L1, L2 at the same append, but we need to choose a choice for L3. So we'll just copy this and we'll just paste it over here. And this is for L3, dummy data for L3 at this condition. Similarly, we want to just copy this statement and we're going to do this for the same. For the conditions are, the conditions may be, let me write the conditions. The conditions may be that position 1 equals to position 2, comma, position 2 equals to position 3, comma, and position 3 equals to position 1. Did I miss any of the conditions? Just let me know in the comment section if I missed any of the conditions. Position 1, position 2, position 2, position 3, position 3, position 1, and I believe I missed nothing. So if I missed, you just let me know in the comment section. So we have checked the first thing, that is position 1 and position 2. Now we'll go for position 2 and position 3. Now if position 2 and position 3 are equal, then we're gonna do that L2 and L3 will append the M, and over here in random.choice we're gonna append L1, because L1 has a different position. Okay, now similarly we'll copy this once again and paste it, and now we're gonna do this position 3 and this one at position 1. This is our third condition. Now we're gonna make the appends change. This is third, this will be 1, and 2 has a different position, so we'll write 2 dummy data. So this is done. Now this steps comes. If none of the two positions are equal, only single position is equals to I, like if position 1 is equals to I, then what we're gonna do, we're gonna just append the rest of the two elements, like we have appended for list 2, and now we'll append the same for list 3. List 3 dot append S. Okay, this is done. Now similarly, we're gonna do the same thing. If I is equals to position 2, then we're gonna append the M in list 2, but for the rest others, we're gonna use the dummy data and we're gonna append it. So for list 1 and list 3, we're gonna append this. Now we will just copy this for position 3, because we also require position 3 over here in the condition. So we're gonna take LF position 3, then we're gonna append the M in L3, and we're gonna choose it and we're gonna store it in L1 and L2. That's it. Now we're gonna print all the 3 lists, print L3, and let us see if we get a perfect output. Maybe we get it right, or maybe we may make some mistakes. So let us see if everything goes well. So yes, we got 3 set of rows, all are of equal length, and now let us check if we are getting something in common. It's hard to take it out, so let us check. I got an I over here, I got an I over here, and I got an I over here. So I is the common character for my side. You can see if you find any other things in common, just let me know if you find any other things in common. Then we need to check out the code once again. So it's capitalized, so I'm writing capital I, and it's a correct answer. We nailed it. So once again, let us check it out. So I believe I'm not getting tell. If you find it out, then you just let me know in the comment section. It's a little interesting game. You need to be very focused. Did you find it? Because I'm not able to find it till now. Okay, it's very tough now. Uh, I have a capital V over here. Okay, I have got it. I have a capital V. Yes, very good, Swati. You're absolutely correct. We got at the same time. So we have done this. Now the last try. We are finding it very interesting. The last try. So did you find anything over here? There is uh, A. Okay, we have got an A. We have got an A. Yeah. You have a quick eye, Sudha. Very good. So we are done this. So this game tends to be more interesting when you make it more complex. So if we want to make it more complex, then we can have like 15 characters, and over here we can change it to 14. We can change it to 14 because it will go to 0 to 14, and we can make these things more interesting now. Now 15 threes are 45, so still we are at the safe side than 52. Okay, from the repetition of the characters. So let us see now. So now it will be more tough, and this will be the last one. I promise. So did you all find it? I got an Y over here. No, there is no Y. E. Okay, let us see. E is over here. E. Oh, that's great, Ankita. It's fabulous. Okay, Swati also found it, and this done. So just let me know in the comment section if you find this game very interesting. I would love to know if you really find this game interesting and you want others also to play this game. You can try to make this more complex and intense. That will be a great one. Yes. Okay. So, guys, just try this game at your home, and tomorrow we will go for a much more interesting and the last and the most complicated game, and that is we're going to design tic-tac-toe. You must have all heard of this game, Tic-Tac-Toe. We all have two values, a cross and a zero, and we all play around according to it. So we're gonna make this Tic-Tac-Toe game tomorrow. So stay tuned with Teckat, and tomorrow will be the last of this internship. And I want that email task to be completed by tomorrow, and I want from your side that you have done it. And if you mail us, or else you can tag us in Insta or any other account, then it will be great. Okay, so thank you guys, thank you for being with us. We will just end up this session over here. If you have any doubts, you have 1 minute to just get your doubts cleared. If you don't have, then we'll wind up the session. Okay, the email task. The email task was something like send an email. Okay, email to any account via Python. This was your task. You need to just send an email from your Python dashboard. That's it. This was only your task. You need to integrate an email from your Python dashboard. So this was your task, and just try to do it as soon as possible. Okay. So I will just take a leave now. Thank you guys. Thank you for being with us.